So like, why are you trying to use this device and this technology like this? Why are you looking at people in clothes? Why are you not researching how to do stuff like this? And people really have to think, but you got to be still to think. You can't be distracted.
Yeah.
So
people can't sit still.
Your baby mama, sister, cousin, hater. Ask Ross, ask Raider. And get the scoop. No 31 flavors. Laugh now, cry later.
What is that? We accept everything that, like, if we see it on TV, it's like, oh, it's law.
Yeah.
That's why I think I sent both of y'all the message. Did I send y'all the message? Like, yo, if you have encyclopedias, give them to me.
no,
Like, yo.
But I can't give you my encyclopedias anyway.
So you have encyclopedias.
Yeah.
Come to your crib. Like, look, like, that's because this whole thing, like, even like as far as like even with COVID and like vaccines and stuff like that, like researching, and I've been trying to research it. It's so hard.
But you're researching off the internet, right?
Yeah.
You're not researching through books.
Yeah.
That's why
it's hard as fuck to get like a different opinion.
No, but so they have books out there. They have the National Archives out there. I forgot, and they have the government websites.
So the government websites are terrible. Like it's so skewed. It's like one point of view. There's nothing else.
But you're talking
But it
about,
makes sense though, because
like you're talking about COVID.
About COVID.
Like,
About COVID, about vaccine information.
But see, stuff like that, see everything, and I guess that's like going back to what Raider was saying about the gender, like how Americans use technology compared to other places. Like you can't look up in the American internet. You can't just put what is COVID and how it's like. You have to search it in a kind of like a coded way. Like you have to find out what COVID, like what is COVID, like what is it, the genetic makeup of it is, and then take one thing of that and look it up and keep going down that trail. But if you just ask like a general question like what's COVID is with like the U.S. internet, I notice it's gonna be simple stuff. It's gonna be because United States is all about stamps, like stamp of approval. What I mean, like so you gotta get a stamp of approval. Like for example, like teachers, like doctors put things in like a journal. Like my article got put into a journal. So that's where all the information comes from somebody. So as long as you have a stamp of approval by the government, then they put it on the site. But it's still the same thing. Like they're not going to really give you a breakdown of everything. You have to learn really how to research it on your own.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think goes into like American education, because when you think about American education, just think about yourself as an adult and how you went through school and you matriculated and everything. And what did you really get from school that prepared you for adulthood? And it's not a lot, you realize.
Right.
Like
social structure.
So like
I got more learning about social structure.
That's it, but like,
and because I went to the ag school, I learned about farming.
Right. But you know,
but
right now,
and stuff like that. But inner city schools,
no.
What the hell did they learn?
So when you get to now this age, you know, an older age, and you're like
an older age,
you're like, so how? Because now you're trying to provide for yourself or your family and everything. You're trying to learn these things because now you've had experience. You've learned now that doctors don't have answers. They give answers. That's different. People don't understand that. They don't have answers. They give you an answer. And the answer could just satisfy your curiosity, but it may not be the truth.
Yeah.
So those are different things. And as an adult, you learn that. Like, okay, I need to self-educate myself and learn how to do these things. But the way technology is made and the way things are done in America, it's a distraction. Everything is a distraction. So American technology, American media, everything is a distraction. So we don't learn how to think, because to think you got to be still. And another thing a lot of people don't understand is when you think
that's real, man.
Your mind hurts. Like people like, if you ever study for a long time, after a while you're like, man, I got a headache. Because your brain is doing stuff that it don't normally do. And it hurts because it's rewiring yourself. So technology and the way that America has basically organized our mindset is the way that things are. And that goes back to the whole overseas they're not, because think about it. You'll see foreigners and they seem like they're more family orientated.
Yeah.
You know, like for example, like a good example is this. Let's talk about generational wealth. Most people, well, I'm gonna say most people. I'm not gonna say all people. Sometimes they want to move away from their parents, and I'm not talking about moving out their house, but outside of that neighborhood, somewhere else. Instead of investing in that same neighborhood that your parents are in, and now you got, we own 3 houses on this block.
Yeah.
You're starting generational wealth by living close to your parents. But we have been taught like to kind of disconnect from our parents and not be around our parents. So we're like,
from community.
yeah, so spread from the community. But when you look at other foreign nations and foreigners, they don't do that. Grandma's in the house. Grandpa lives down the street. You know, and that's something that Americans have to realize. We have been pulled apart, and all these distractions and stuff is what's doing that. So people really gotta like. It's not about. It's like one of my favorite movies is Interview with the Vampire, because these are old people using things they've learned and now. And the dude said, "It's not the question; it's why you asking the question." So like, why are you trying to use this device and this technology like this? Why are you looking at people in clothes? Why are you not researching how to do stuff like this? And people really have to think, but you got to be still to think. You can't be distracted.
Yeah.
So
People can't sit still.
people can't sit still. Even today, I was watching a basketball game, but I was on my phone. I need to be on my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a habit. Like, I don't care what anybody say. Move the phone away from you, and it feels like the phone like makes you want to check it.
Check, yeah.
When it's away from you, you don't even think about it.
Why can't people sit still?
Don't practice it. Learning how to sit still. Okay, I read a good mentor said this, like from a book I read. He said, when people first learn how to meditate, they keep worrying about, they thinking about stuff too much. Like, you gonna know how to meditate the first time. You gotta learn how to stop thinking and understand how to let thoughts just flow past. Like, just because you have a thought, you don't mean you gotta entertain that thought. Let that sucker just go past and quiet your mind. Because your mind gonna keep going, but it's not gonna happen the first time. So you're not gonna learn how to sit still the first time. You gotta keep practicing. And practicing takes time. So people don't have the discipline and the determination to just, I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna learn how to do this.
Our attention span is so bad that we can't sit still.
Yeah.
That's
That's a fact though. Like, think about it. Like,
that's crazy.
like, perfect example. I have a TV in my kitchen.
Yeah.
When I turn off the TV and turn off the music in my house, I
You have
clean
a
up
TV
everything.
in your kitchen?
Yeah, I do have a TV in my kitchen. Yeah, I do. Yeah. Life's good.
TV in his kitchen. Okay. All right. I'm listening. Go ahead.
But like, if you turn that, when I turn that off and turn off music and do everything I need to do in the kitchen, I get it done 10 times faster. But since I have the TV, which is a distraction, you're thinking, oh, I'm just turning around, I'm just listening to it. Nope, your mind becomes unfocused. You're doing multiple things. Your subconscious mind is doing different things. All those things matter. And being still is also just being still. No distractions, no music, no TV. Because like people like, I had a TV on the background. It's a distraction.
Yeah.
You're not focused 100% in on what you're doing. And to quiet your mind and to do those things, you have to have no distractions. But to do that takes determination. And as Nipsey said, being uncomfortable. Because you don't know how to do this stuff. So you got to be uncomfortable for a while and get through it so you can learn how to do it. But the human body, the human being is amazing because anything we practice, we eventually master. If you practice it enough, you will master. I don't care what it is.
What about crack pipe?
You know what that is? That's just, you know what? That comes into generational wealth.
What's the deal with this thing with Biden?
So it's not true.
Right, okay,
What?
because Daily, first of all, Daily Mail sucks. Because they'll put out like a fantastic title to something. Joe Biden wants to endorse crack pipes, free crack pipes to Americans and stuff. Like, okay, I'm like, that's not the whole story.
But it's not even the story. So the story is that in the language that the health department came out with, they were just talking about how to change the language of syringes and stuff that people use as bad for you. So like syringes and stuff that people use for drugs. use terms as bad terms. So, a Republican senator from Indiana said, "Why you want to give out crack pipes?" And then it made news. So now everybody's saying, "Oh, why you want crack pipes?" So people take.
I didn't repost that shit because I saw it on Instagram. I'm like, that can't be real. Like,
and so
I'm not even a Biden fan, but I'm like,
but I see this now. Living over there, people take. I understand that people take the first 5 seconds of anything and make it bigger.
they run with it.
Well, that's attention span too.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty much how much attention span you usually have when you're talking to somebody else.
And the crazy part is, nobody is critically thinking about what happened. People just taking that and just say, "Oh, that's law," and nobody's critically thinking about, is this true? When was it said?
It's so funny though, because I saw
But that takes work.
I saw that reposted on so many pages. Because I follow all the time, especially like African pages and like a few political pages, even though I'm not political. But I saw that at least like 7 times on Instagram, on 7 different pages. Joe Biden handing out crack pipes, something like that. And I'm like, I don't even need to do the research to know that that's not true or it's not the whole story. Like I said, I'm not a Biden fan, kind of at all. But there's no way a standing president is gonna say something like, even Joe Biden's crazy ass, he's nuts, he's old, senile. Even his crazy ass wouldn't say, "Oh, we're gonna pass out crack pipes to the American public."
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, yo, but people repost it.
I would just say I would hope he would. I'm not gonna say he would.
Yeah, I won't say
Because my thing about it
I just
is
can't see any standing president doing it.
shit. Donald Trump did.
Donald Trump,
Yeah.
but that was my thing about it. Donald Trump said a lot of crazy things, and there was not as much of a blow up. So that really lets you see who's in control of the media power. Because to me, like for example, the protest that happened in Australia, I didn't really see that on the news.
You didn't see the protest in Australia. You didn't see the protest in Canada with the truckers.
Yeah, you didn't see that on
Shout out
the
to the
news.
truckers. I'm with y'all. You didn't see any of the protests. It's not even the truckers anymore. It's so many different
Groups just blocking.
Yeah.
But they're not
But
showing that on main media.
Yeah, and then I understand this.
Crack
Yeah,
pipe thing was on
Yeah.
main
But the
media.
crack pipe thing was everywhere.
Yeah, that's right.
But you
But
don't
you
see
know what?
people protesting. They were like white supremacists protesting in Canada. It was like a bunch of Indian guys up there protesting with them.
Yeah.
And it was a group of like African guys and Asian Vietnamese people protesting up there. They're like, "Oh, it's white supremacists." I'm like,
people only
I ain't
care
seen
about
one person.
their proximity. That's what it is. People
True,
only,
very true.
people only care about what happens. Nobody cares about what happens in other countries. They only care about what happens here because they are thinking, "I live here. I'm not going anywhere else. So fuck everything else." People want to say they care about us. Oh, they're gonna march and whatever, but they're not gonna go over there and just fight. They're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
They're gonna stay in that comfortable city or state.
And find a way to distract themselves.
Yeah.
So they don't have to deal with the outside
But that's-
realness of what's going on.
It makes a point of it is proximity because it goes even with our city. Like for example, things that happen on the south side and west side of our city compared to when something happens downtown.
Oh
Like,
man.
And it's like a big news. It's like, oh my God, there's kids everywhere. Like there's kids everywhere.
Yeah,
all the time,
exactly.
man. Like it ain't just downtown. Y'all just not used to it.
When the
Like,
riots were happening up and down
Yeah.
State Street, I was like,
but that becomes, as you said,
I was like, they were shooting on 75th like 2 weeks ago. That wasn't even on the news. Like, people got shot on 75th. We go party up there. Like, what?
Yeah.
But one person got robbed on State Street, just like all over the news. To check out the rest of that video and many more, head over to YouTube at Ross and Raider.
And please check us out on our podcast, Ross and Raider, on Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Apple Music.
Thanks for tuning in.
We are your friends. Good night.